Well, it's 9 a.m. So here we go again. Now, I don't want some people to get the wrong idea, they're like, well, you're banging on the prosecutors. No, I'm not banging on all the prosecutors. Frankly, there's a lot of great prosecutors out there. You have individual specialists that are extraordinary, and the thing is management is where a lot of the problems come in, the managers. Because that's when you have things called policy that can start screwing things up really big time. And a lot of prosecutors out there, they know this. They know this. They have issues themselves from time to time with policy. So I wouldn't want anyone getting the wrong idea, about this, So, I mean, if we go back and we check, and I've got shows, I've got material out there, I've got videos out there that go way back, decades and decades back, So we got 2000, we've got a 2014 understanding where basically. I'm public about some of these motivations, about some of these goals to deal with people that are government employees that keep committing crime. And the sad state today is the reality of whistleblowing has gone backwards completely. The protection for whistleblowing and all this other stuff. And that's a big problem. We have to have a permanent policy. I used the word, darn. Seriously, we need a permanent policy of fMRI lie detector technology being utilized to maintain and guarantee a purity level of certain areas of the judicial system. That way we can make sure that we have purity, to guarantee we have people capable of having national security clearances. Because as it is right now, we have parties out there that are not qualified for national security clearances. I'm sure, in fact, I'm completely certain that there's many people in the country right now that notice that, we have people running for office that are not qualified to have a national security rating. As far as them having clearances to handle documents, etc. So, if we track back there are people in government that don't want to see my legal research move forward. They don't want to see me moving forward because they know that I'm coming after some of them to prosecute them. I'm going to put them in prison. I'm going to repair breaches. I'm going to help restore national security. You have programmers, you have gamers, you have people that are serious researchers that are sick and tired of their research being destroyed by bozos. And having people ranking in management and government completely ignoring the importance of the individual labor of a citizen who works very hard on projects. There seems to be a misnomer that things related to national security only belong to a super company or only belong to the government. That's wrong. Cutting edge development of the brainy end of stuff generally comes from all over the place. And a lot of it comes from independent researchers. That could be anybody. That's one of the great wonders of America. And, other places around the world as well. So, I I didn't want people getting the wrong idea about stuff. You know, I'm very much into the purity of the great prosecutors that are out there, and we've got many of them still. You know, some of them do extensive, focused research in areas, and their material is truly excellent. I mean, I could sit here and probably go on for half an hour giving you a list of people that are top of the line, you know. I mean, and some of them don't talk a whole lot. I mean, you know, you have to look harder to find the material, you know. You do have people like Glenn Kirshner. You can find a lot of his material on YouTube, basically, and he's very good at doing a lot of analysis as to, well, part of the problem of our collapsing justice system, you know. And you can see him as of the late, you could look at him covering stuff over the last year and see how he gets more and more pissed off. And by the way, you know, he's not biased. You know, generally I look at his material, he's not biased. People will point at him and try to say, well, he's biased. No, he's not biased. Those emotional sets have good foundation, good reason for him to believe what he believes. And anybody that is a prosecutor needs to have a firm foundation of belief that the material that they're looking at works into a slot a certain way and it fits there. You know, this is part of the clarity to show that, yes, these people are tracking 5 by 5 on the right road. You know, and some of them are really excellent in many of their fields. And then some of them will talk about things and then later on they'll change their position because new information comes out. You know, I mean, there's nothing like that. You know, right now we have a big disclosure point happening where there are many people in the country that do not understand that there are missing pieces of information. You know, so right now you have a period of the Democratic Party beginning to discover certain things about their own that are embarrassing. They put great shame upon Democrats. You know, if you're going to point at Republicans, we don't have time for a super long series right now. There's other people that have worked very hard on their series, and they are numerous. But the reality that we have to tactically get back on track away from this super name-calling stuff and get back to the facts, get back to the tactical table, get back to those realities of that great worldwide commerce competition that we have to address, and we have to repair Americans' lives, their wallets. We have to do this. You know, and frankly, the reality is there's a lot of people running for office that in all honesty, they don't have the rational capabilities necessary. They don't have the cogs in their brain to make America great. They really don't. You know, it takes people like me that have super brains, that have worked on things for decades, that have lots and lots of people that I need to bring on board to get things done. But the reality is, as I start pulling more and more information out from under the shield, you know, first I start revealing a little bit, and then more and more, and then, my goodness, oh, it's 14 RVs, yes. And I says, well, by the way, you know, Kamala steps into the ring. Yeah, well, she's got baggage too, and now we're beginning to lay some of that out. So the reality is there's more to it. There's 18 mobile broadcast RV archive vehicles that, in fact, have been basically lost. You know, so, you know, these are vehicles with super long range, Wi-Fi, computers on board, and they're designed to be upgraded. I had the designs for doing all the extra upgrades and facets I was going to install for drones, basically. Lots of little drones, and it's like they have these little Pringles cans on them, and they can project Wi-Fi for extended lengths. We're talking basically 15 miles, and you can have another drone relay, which means basically my fleet can end up hitting a valley, and I can put Wi-Fi across an entire city, and bring in wireless communication that's mind-boggling. So if you don't even have phone service, all of a sudden you go, wow, there's a signal here, what's going on? And you tap into it. Hello, how are you doing? And you'll be running into one of the most powerful archives in the history of the world, with basically an opportunity for 24/7 services that are going to help restore your lives immediately begin working the problem, getting those items organized, getting that material together to be able to utilize and rework again and again, and then basically start being able to rework all of that material so that we can get more people working on it. These archives basically had a lot of legal aspect research in them because you have great understanding that our system works by law, but we've got a lot of flaws. We have people that are stuck in forms of simpleton type thinking processes. It's ruined our educational system, it's ruined our government, it's ruined a lot of things in my opinion. And frankly, we're in a state of emergency in multiple ways. It's like a long list of things that are all state of emergency, state of emergency, state of emergency. And we have to address these items. There's lots of ways to address these things far better. And I'm somebody, each and every day, I'm coming out more and more showing and saying, hey, I'm ready to get these things moving more, but these people don't want to pay their bill. They want to run for office. They want to step up on my neck. They want to violate the Constitution of the United States. They want to rob voters of their rights, but then they're going to lie about it. They're going to claim that they're the big champions, and that's a lie. That's not the truth. So we don't have an election right now. So when I'm putting out and starting processing paper and there's warnings going out and different levels of material that's being processed, I don't want to hear people whine when basically I'm in the process and I'm forced to have to seize, impound all the delegates out of California, for instance, because California doesn't want to pay its bill. Because they knew they owed me hundreds of millions of dollars way back in 2014. And there's broadcast material. There's podcasts that are out there that date way back. They knew this. There's lots of people that have notations. There's a bunch of phony files that have been generated around me. There's lots of infiltration of what? Foreign government. You have to remember that people are not readily told things proper by the government. They are not told that 10,000 people on the Russian payroll are in government jobs across the country at any given time. Pretty much as a minimum. There's lots of money. I've got shows someplace where I talk about that. I don't have all of them posted up, not in this area, and some of them haven't been posted at all. And there's a lot of them that have to be recovered. SAR satellite, the SAR satellite in the raw data, we have tracking, nothing escapes. We can retrieve some of these vehicles that were stolen. We can retrieve a lot of stolen data. But we cannot get cooperation from government to protect national security. This is the truth. These people can't stand up in an fMRI lie detector. I'll smoke them. These people are scared to death of me. When I talk to attorneys and we're going over all these different facts, it's not a joke when an attorney tells me, Mike, you have people shooting at you, you have 87 police officers that you need to put in prison, and your life is in danger each and every day. These other people running for office have far larger security staffs than you do. And at this point, the government is dealing with insurrection nationwide. We have mass instability. We have people in the media that have been walking very carefully trying to assess what's been going on. We've got the Russian government that have been throwing billions and billions of dollars into destabilizing our country, into destabilizing the political process. And a lot of people don't understand the intricacies of this. And the unique thing is the way they do this, they make a profit at it. They make a profit the whole time they do it. Because when you put a spy into places people wouldn't think that a spy could do anything, they're going to extract a profit. You know, you get a spy that's in at county records, they're grabbing a hold of vast quantities of records. All of that's resaleable. Mailing list, key sales list, various types of marketing, targeting list. It's worth big bucks. So all this information being generated by these spies is profit making. So they're making a profit. So you can actually argue, there was somebody, I forgot who it was, they argued that basically that the Russian spies were extracting more than $50 billion. Let me say this again for people that are slow. That they were extracting more than $50 billion of operations just inside the United States. And most of these are for-profit. They're for-profit. It's about business. It's weird. It's more about business. It's kind of strange that way. It's not like, well, we're stealing nuclear secrets. They're going straight out for anything that's got profit in it. Anything that's got profit in it. So in reality, the parts that are destructive are part of the programs too. They're almost like a side shoot. But they're looking at it with heads and they're going in it for profits, and they got all these things. You have people that work for companies that are owned by the Russians, and people don't even know this. They have no idea that they are working for an intrusive oligarchic foreign entity. So let's jump to something practical. Let's understand practical. Let's understand the dream. The dream of Americans, the concept you're being told now by many people that perhaps by the time you retire you might obtain the wonderful American dream of owning your own home is bullshit. You know, year 1750, the average 12 to 14-year-old had the carpentry skills to build the board-foot equivalent of a two-bedroom home by themselves, less than 2 months in many cases, but less than 6 months certainly. So this is a reality that today's world modernized has the average person that should have carpentry skills, that the course of their longevity, now 78 years, was 38 years, 1750, and now 480 homes with a little parlay effect. That should be the statistical average output productivity for a U.S. citizen. That should be a piece of cake. But we have all these problems. We have all these people in government. We have government that has been infiltrated by foreign governments. We have sabotage going on at both foreign and domestic levels. This is welcome to reality. So the only way to repair a lot of this system is to put in advanced systems. You know, that means you're going to hear guys like me say, well, this is what we need to do. We got to bring AI. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to use fMRI lie detectors. We got to do all this stuff, and nobody wants to hear it. They're scared to death. They're scared to death. They don't want to go to prison because a lot of people out there need to go to prison. You know, I sit there and go, yeah, there's 13.5 million people that work for government in this country, and that almost 500,000 of them need to go to prison right away. People go, that's an enormous statistic. Well, it's part of the game. It's part of the way it works. You got to remember, the Russians never have less than 10,000 people on payroll at any given time. Proving that's hard. You know, I've talked before in the past about how that works and how you see, you know, just go grab a list of all the people got caught doing espionage, and you're seeing this master list of the lower end of those people who were trained versus the higher end of those people who were trained, who will leave, snap in a moment's notice the second they think that things are getting hot. You know, Mueller ended up getting over 200 of them to promptly leave the country because he just wanted to question them. He basically put out a warrant for questioning. These people immediately fled the country. There's evidence of many people, by the way, that had far more training. So people need to understand stuff like this. So restoring the dreams, the difference is I'm the guy building the archive. I'm the guy doing the super AI research. I've been doing this for decades. I'm the guy to give the 24/7 services. I'm the guy to help unfold the dream. I'm the guy that is the dream. I'm the dream saying, look, let me hand this out. Let me help catch your dream. Let me help make your dream a reality. And this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm building. This is who I am. This is part of who I am. And this is a full, diverse area. Goes all the way to national security, very heavy. I'm fully diversified. But the thing is what I have to deal with is people that are criminals. I have to deal with people who are bad cops. I got to put them in jail. And we have people that are trying to protect them. People are paying upstairs, downstairs insurance games. People that are stepping up to the plate saying, our policy is not to protect the voters, not to protect the process of elections, not to protect candidates. Our process is to give protection to government employees that may have done something wrong and delay you as long as possible and not participate in investigations involving whether it's foreign, domestic, or whatever it is. So this is the problem with the AG's office. Just look at it. Walk up to the AG and say, let me see, what's the list? How many investigations have you guys done to uncover all these Russians when Mueller and the Justice Department, all this disclosure comes out about the active agents in the field interfering with the process of elections? Where are those investigations? Let's see those. Zilch. Zero. And they're going to stand up and grandstand. They're going to stand up and grandstand, and they're just going to self-perpetuate. They're going to stand on an old platform, 35 years old. Welcome to reality. It went backwards. It didn't work. And the part of the reasons is it didn't work is these people don't have the qualifications that you think they do. You need to wake up and understand that. You got to smell the coffee there. So if your coffee's stale, it's bad. It was mixed wrong to begin with. You're going to chuck it. You're going to make another pot. So we got all these people right now that think they're getting on board with a bunch of stuff. And hello, hi, how are you doing? None of these people want to battle it out with me in an fMRI lie detector. They don't want to do that. I'm going to smoke them, and they know it. So getting compensation, following the Constitution and the laws. These situations have to be compensated before voting, before the counting and the certification of voting can continue. So these people, again, they're struggling. They're not compensating. They're not doing what was supposed to be done. They're just attacking more and more and more. They're refusing to acknowledge the truth and do proper investigations, so refusing to prosecute parties that should have been in jail years ago, sometimes decades ago. But I'm still fighting. 18 mobile broadcast archive RVs lost at this point. We could recover them, but we need the money now. California owes more than $2.8 billion to me. This is how much damage they've done to archives. National security's been damaged. This is big. And these people keep making excuses, and they step up and they grandstand on the podium, and your life is in danger. Your life is in danger. You need people that are far more diverse in these categories, that have far more expertise. You don't need to get caught in some form of a building that's playing a massive upstairs, downstairs insurance game, putting you off. Because that wouldn't be me. I'm the guy that wants to get the 24/7 services going with the hottest design AI assistive systems that you could imagine, and get them in your hands right now, because we can do it right now. But these people, again, they're struggling. How is this an election? How are we having an election here when I'm getting shot at? Well, I've had attorneys saying, you can't, at this point in time, you can't show your face because they will circulate photos of you and use decentralized violence on you, and you need a larger security staff. And these people don't want to put people in jail that are their own subordinates. Welcome to reality. This is election 2024. My name's Michael Crosby, and yes, I am a candidate for the presidency of the United States. Now, I hope none of you have a problem working with a guy that has an IQ of 240. Thank you for your time. That's the 9 o'clock show.